Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
And welcome back to another episode of Great Morning. I'm your host, Christian Murmur, Merms, Mermdog, whatever the fuck you want to call me. And to the bottom of my computer screen, we have our in-studio comedian, Topazkin Chubbsway. Chuck, how you doing today, bro?
We good, baby. Good morning. Great morning. Fantastic morning. We in the building. Just having a good time. Man? Oh, I'm sitting out volunteering. And we got Special Olympics. I'm a Special Olympics basketball coach on the side.
That's awesome.
They don't laugh at none of my jokes. But it's a good time, man. These kids
Somehow
are great.
That hurts.
It does.
What kind of jokes do you make?
Age appropriate ones, I guess.
That's probably why I would hope so.
Yeah, that's probably why they're not funny, because I'm not skilled at age appropriate jokes. So I really try. They probably come off really corny.
Yeah. So what got you into that? When did you start doing that?
7 years ago. I was just in it. You know, in the Navy, you do some volunteer, and then they just, I don't know, they made a special place in my heart. And now it's all I do.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a very nice thing that you do. I'm happy to hear about the volunteering. Did you hear what happened to Stephanie? Hopefully she can join us. By the way, for the listeners, Stephanie is not here right now. Hopefully she can join us in a bit, but something happened to Stephanie. Chuck, did you hear what happened to Stephanie?
Yeah. You know, when you twerk too hard and that thing too heavy, you know, you snap your ACL or something.
This morning, she sent us a voice message and was like, "Hey guys, I don't know if I can make the podcast today. I'm in the ER. I think I broke my leg." And we were all, of course, like, "Well, what happened? Like, was she in a car accident or something?" Right. And she told us she was dancing too hard.
Hard.
She danced too fucking hard and snapped like her knee or something. And she sent us a picture. She's in a brace and everything. It's pretty fucked up. I hope it's not as bad as she thought, but she said she was in a lot of pain. So, you know, we hope she gets better, but, you know,
which I totally understand.
Dancing.
That's not true, because a couple of years ago, it was when I first turned 30. Matter of fact, it was when I was 30. And I don't know. I blacked out, but I didn't black out, and I was dancing too hard, and I hurt my back. And the day after 30, I had my first back pain, and it was really hard for me to walk. And then another time,
I was thinking, what was the problem? Your back was just hurt?
Yeah, I'm a dude. We don't go to the doctor, so we kind of just, deal with the pain.
What?
Get out. I couldn't walk.
Stupid.
Yeah, I couldn't walk for a while.
Yeah, you should absolutely go to the doctor about that. Does your back still hurt? Back pain is a bad thing, man. That can just get worse.
Sometimes. Yeah, you're right, because I was singing Prince in karaoke a little while ago, and Prince does this one arm floaty hump the air thing that he does. So I tried to mimic that, and I used to do it back in my 20s, and and now I have ED. So yeah, it just kind of.
Oh my god! All right, well, that's fantastic. Something.
It hurt.
Well, Chuck, I'm happy to hear from you as always. But I want to go ahead and introduce someone very Whoa, actually, I think someone else just came in the call, but we'll introduce him in a bit. But first, I want to introduce someone very special, a very special guest we have with us today. This is her first appearance on the show. She is a fellow, as I like to say here on the podcast, she is a fellow podcastateer for Mostly True Opinions and a stand-up comic who recently dropped her special/album called I Am the Trash. Please welcome to the show, Katie K. How are you doing today?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. It's wonderful to have you. I was just thinking that I introduced you as a stand-up comic. Do you prefer to be called a stand-up comic or stand-up comedian, or do you prefer not to be called at all?
I think they're equal. I don't think one is better, so I'll take anything.
I think the difference
is slightly like identify, like
right. I think the difference, right, is you can be a comedian but not be a stand-up comic, right? That's the difference. That's why there's two names for
right.
it.
Yeah, but I started doing improv and acting and other stuff, so I'll take either.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, glad to hear it. How you doing today? It's wonderful to have you on.
I'm good. I'm like proud of myself for making it because I am also now in my 30s and I was out last night. So I woke up and was like, gotta rally.
Yeah.
Oh, rally. Oh man. It's like you combine your whole routine into like one big motion, huh?
Exactly.
You know, I have a question for you. Since you're a stand-up comic, when you tell jokes on stage, do you feel like it's necessary after every joke you tell to remind the audience that you're joking, just in case they forget that it's a joke? Or is that the stupidest thing you've ever heard?
Not the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but no, definitely not. I don't, I just like double down if people are raising an eyebrow at me, I kind of just double down on the joke until they buy in or not. And I'm not super controversial. Like I don't really talk politics or anything on stage. I'm not super raunchy. So I hardly ever have to remind them, like, hey, whatever. I'm joking. Sometimes I'll like the joke I'm thinking of when you asked that was I have some jokes about death, and sometimes people's buttholes tighten up and they get all like, ooh. And so in those moments, I'm like, come on, go with me, buckle up. You consented to this joke. It's fine.
Imagine that was a rule, though. Imagine you had to say every time after you told a joke, like, I'm joking. That would be really dumb.
It would take away some of the magic.
But imagine people were that stupid. Although, I'm sure there's been some dumb audience members for you, but imagine people were that stupid that they'd have to be like, wait, was that a joke? Or
well, yeah, people are offended by everything. Like I got yelled at by a school. I was doing a college gig and they got mad that I said, hey guys, because I said guys and that was not inclusive.
Yeah, you didn't include everybody.
Yeah, so it was that. It's when those types of things start getting nitpicked, then I'm all out. I'm all out on that.
I like how you said you got yelled at. So like, were you sent to like the principal's office? Like what?
No, they emailed my agent.
Nice.
And were like, she didn't use inclusive language on stage, which I'm happy to do. I just was greeting a crowd. So
yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not taking a stance on pronouns to say, hey,
of course
guys.
not. It's
why the fuck
weird.
not?
Yeah, it's weird because the way I've always used guys or, hey, you guys, it's just generally everyone. I've never meant it like just the men. So is that really? I feel like that's really nitpicking.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. How are you gonna know? How are you gonna know? Even though, how do you know if they're a guy?
No, the term guys.
The term guys.
The term guys.
Exactly.
That's why now you just say, hey, y'all,
Right. That's what I started doing.
But I feel like the only reason somebody would be offended is if they're like, why are you calling me a guy?
Well,
and you just reply back when I don't give a fuck.
It was you don't have to do that. But I mean, what we're saying is guys is just it incorporates everyone.
Yeah,
that's what it does.
No, I agree.
It doesn't have to refer to just.
I feel like it incorporated everyone 10, 15 years ago.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You got to be careful, extremely careful nowadays, because it is very hard to be creative and funny and tell jokes because everybody takes offense to everything.
Well, if they go to
if you're in a liberal school,
that's
if
exactly
you go to a comedy show, be prepared for some comedy. Don't go to a comedy show.
Exactly. Where was this gig, Katie?
Eastern Illinois.
Eastern Illinois
University.
All right, cool.
Oh, what was the school called?
Eastern Illinois University.
Eastern Illinois.
Oh, I thought
it was just said it.
EIU, yeah.
It was in, yeah.
I was born and raised in Southern Illinois.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, people are kind of cool.
Is that where you're at now?
No, I'm
in Las Vegas.
That's why, Katie.
Oh, I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, dude, I love LA.
Well, Katie, I want to know. Speaking of, the audience giving you shit. So hecklers, right? have you ever had a bad experience with hecklers? Which I'm sure the answer is yes, but specifically hecklers that like talk to you, like try to discuss things with you while you're on stage, not just like, the people talking in the corner and just being annoying and drunk.
Yes, actually this week. I mean, I've had it happen a lot, but one of the worst ones of my career was this week at the Irvine Improv. I was down there and this guy, it was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So like what a ridiculous night for someone to be so like obliterated drunk. But this guy was in the front row and he kept like retorting after every single thing I said. He wouldn't even let me get through a joke. And so then I had to address it because I was trying to just power through because I was one of the first comics on the stage.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, I have to address this. And he was wearing an Affliction t-shirt, which I think is funny on its own. Like, okay. So I kind of dug into that. And he was older. He was like, by older, I mean just like my dad's age. And I have some jokes about my dad because I hate my dad. Yeah. You've probably heard those.
I did.
So I started doing some dad material and kind of referring to him. And then security came over and like told him to stop interrupting the show because he was derailing everything. So then I stopped talking to him. I was like, oh, Affliction got in trouble. I'm going to talk to a different table and like direct my jokes and like get through the rest of the set. He did not ever stop. He kept like shouting out. I couldn't even get through a punchline. So then security came and was like kicking him out. He was in the front row, so you can't like not address this.
Was he alone or was he was he with some people?
So he had a woman with him and then another couple, but I got the story after. So the security guy started telling him to leave and then he threw a drink and a napkin in the security guy's face. Then he started yelling at me and he's like, you can't even take a joke. What a bit, like yelling at me from off stage. Jesus. And I was like, oh, everyone clap for the big man. And then I was like, if I wanted to be in a room with older dudes that didn't give a shit about what I was saying, I would just hang out with my dad again. Yeah. And whatever. So I tried like bringing it back. Thank you. That's pretty good. And then I sat down on the stool and I looked at the people left at the table, the other couple, and I was like, how do you know him? Is that your dad? Like, I couldn't tell. And they go, we met him hitchhiking. And I said, I was like,
that's a great start.
He was hitchhiking. And they go, no, we were hitchhiking and he picked us up and brought us to this show.
Wow. That's a good question. Who's weirder, the hitchhiker or the guy who picks up hitchhikers?
And then I was like, and you were better behaved? He found you on the highway on the shoulder of a highway and you're better behaved?
Yeah. I love this. Oh God.
That's like, that could be like the new Tinder, you just pick up hitchhikers on the highway.
Yeah.
Friend.
Exactly. A meet cute. And so so then that was wild. And then this woman that got kicked out started screaming like in the back of the club because they were by the front door and they wouldn't leave and they were calling the cops on them.
Oh my God.
So after my set, which I got through one entire joke of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So after my set, the headliner like hugged me and was like, that was so rough. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty awful.
The security guys walked me to my car because they were afraid that the couple was waiting for me outside to like get in my face.
Or maybe they would have just asked you for a ride.
Maybe, honestly.
They could have just done that. But that's good. Well, I'm glad he didn't, end up like going to your car and shit. But,
yeah.
So
it was pretty intense.
You had a 20-minute set.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's really good because I know a lot of people, don't they normally only get like 5 to 7 minutes or 2 to 5 minutes to just
starting out, right?
Start out,
Yeah, depending. So yeah, on a showcase where there's like maybe 6 or 7 comics on a show, that's normal to have like a shorter set, like you're saying. I'm definitely at a point where it does need to be like, if I'm driving to Irvine, I need to like have a longer set. And this producer booked essentially 4 people that did 20 minutes each, or maybe the headliner did 30 because he was doing longer. But yeah, and now I'm while I'm not necessarily like a celebrity name or anything that can get butts in seats, I'm starting to headline. So every time I headline, like I've been doing a few of the past weekends, I do 45 minutes.
Yeah. Is
So
that how
it's-
long the special is altogether?
Yeah, I recorded an hour when I did it and then cut out like I left myself some room to cut out like 10 minutes of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question about when you got started, when you wanted to be a stand-up comic, but it kind of goes in with one of the jokes you told while I was listening to your special. And I don't want to give too much away because I want people to listen to it, but it involved someone you already mentioned here on the podcast and how you do not get along with that person. And that person blamed you for something, saying, don't make this all about yourself. Yeah. And then you said, so I decided to grab a microphone and make it all about myself.
Yes.
Right. So is that now, see, like I said, I'm a stupid person, so I don't know if that's a joke or not. So is that really how you got started being a stand-up comic?
Yes.
Okay.
So everything, I know some comics absolutely embellish or whatever for stage. So it's fine that you like, it's normal to ask that, but everything I say on stage is true.
Nice.
Has definitely happened. Yeah. So I went through a bad breakup and my dad pieced out, around the same time, 8 years ago. And so then, I started stand up.
You just
wait, so your dad left you in your 20s?
Yeah, it was super weird. Like, because also we're adults, we could just have a conversation. Like, so that's what happened in the joke. That's what I was talking about. Is I basically met up with him and was like, "What gives? Like, you could just level with all of us. Like, it doesn't matter. People get divorced, people remarry, people like do crazy shit. Like, it doesn't matter. Everyone goes through this." And he didn't care about anyone's feelings and was like, don't make this about you. And I was like, oh, okay.
And then you grabbed the microphone.
So now we haven't talked. It kind of went on for like 2 years. So I think I haven't talked to him in 10 years, but I started stand up like 8 years ago. And so, it was that happened. And then I went through a breakup and I was acting and doing groundlings and I was getting so frustrated of just not getting auditions. And I looked at stand up as a way to do it myself. Like, I can write my own jokes, get myself booked. I don't have to wait on an agent to get me auditions. So
how did you come about your first audition?
So I did an agent like showcase thing where I did a scene from Bridesmaids, and because Kristen Wiig was like my inspo at the time. And I got an agent, like a super boutique agent, but an agent from the showcase, and then they submitted me on like the casting profiles and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's
nice. Like those online agents, or you went like because there's one here, and I was gonna try to get my daughter involved, and she's like, yeah, you gotta do like headshots and then go to our classes. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to spend no money.
Yeah, it's tough because you can't, it's kind of scammy if you have to like pay for things off the bat. But you also do need headshots to be on casting profiles. So it's not totally inappropriate for them to ask you to like get headshots of her. But like it's a slippery slope. Sure, it is good to be in classes if you've never done acting before. But also if you're paying them, then it's a little sketch. Yeah.
Did you go to school for acting then?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to USC. Honestly, why? But
oh man, yeah, because I want to. I mean, like a stand-up comedy is easy. You can book yourself. You just walk up and meet a guy, but acting's a lot harder.
Yeah, I do both still. Like I have an agent for acting. It's just I don't pour all of my energy into that. Like I do more stand-up.
Didn't Will Ferrell go to USC?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah, like Will Ferrell is really, he's funny. One of like probably the funniest people on the planet for me personally, just like my genre, I guess, or like what I find funny. But I remember like, quite some time ago, early on in my 20s, I was like looking at like, different creator avenues, whether it be like acting or video. And I wanted to start shooting film and doing like media production. So I started looking at LA Film School. But then as I kind of dug into things, I was like, oh shit, Will Ferrell went to USC. Wow. That's like right up the road,
Will Ferrell and Katie K went there.
Yeah, and he did Groundlings too. Very similar paths. Yeah.
So with the stand-up, did you just start going to open mics, or like how did the beginning process where it just open mics and then you got an agent afterwards, or?
Yeah. So I haven't had an agent for stand-up until this year. So I've been booking myself on everything, which has been definitely tough, but rewarding. It's fine. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I took a writing class of just to force myself to start and rip the Band-Aid off and go to an open mic with like something I'd written in class and like tested in front of other people. Mm-hmm. So I did my first open mic in a strip mall in East Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
It was just this little like hole in the wall style like open mic thing, and there was a bar also in the strip mall. So I bombed my face off like so bad. I 0 laughs for my first ever open mic. Yeah, it was so soul sucking that I left and I was like, I'm never doing this again. I'm an idiot. And then I went to the bar in the strip mall and I was like, I need a beverage immediately. And I walked in, and the first person I saw was Eliza Schlesinger. She has 5 Netflix specials and she is my hero. And she turned around and I was like, Eliza? And I was wearing a stupid fucking shirt that said, I'm sorry, I should have asked if we could swear on this.
You can say fuck if you want.
Okay, cool. Thank God. So I was wearing a stupid shirt that said Harvard Law, just kidding. So dumb. And she turns around from the bar and goes, I have that shirt. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Eliza. And then I was so dumb, but I was kind of shook to see her. And I go, were you just at the open mic? She has multiple Netflix specials. Of course, she was not at the open mic. And she was like, oh, no, I'm just like drinking with my friend, blah, blah, blah. Like she was kind of tipsy at the time. And then she gave me an email of someone that runs a show at the Comedy Store and was super sweet. And then I was like, okay, this is a sign from the universe to not give up on stand-up.
That's amazing. Right. That's a really lucky encounter, right?
It was very cool. I was like, did this happen or did I dream this?
But that's okay that you bombed your first set, because I was I remember a while ago I was listening to, I think it was Anthony Cheselnik he was in an interview or something. It might have even been his show. I think he was talking to Kristen Schaal. Anyway, he was talking about, he believes comics either the first time they go up on stage, they either bomb like bad, or they do an amazing set their first time. He doesn't think there's any in between.
Right.
So I'm glad
that
you didn't
tracks.
give up, yeah.
I feel like the better ones bomb though, because then they know,
we
then
stay
they know
humble.
they stay humble. They know how it feels. It's just like a good addition to the story. Like, yeah, let me tell you how I started. Nobody wants to hear like, oh, I've been a hero. People want to hear like the climb. So
right. Started from the bottom.
Started from the bottom.
I didn't bomb my first time.
Well, aren't you amazing?
You're the hero, huh? You're the superhero.
Oh wow! Look at Chuck over there.
I bombed like maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 7 shows later. Like when I started, I was like, yeah, let me start writing about my dad. And like when I started writing ghetto stuff, then nobody laughed because I forgot. I'm in a white ass fucking area.
Yeah, you gotta. I was gonna say, man, you gotta read the room a little bit. You gotta know that.
Yeah,
know your audience.
Like the first time, it was great because every other person can laugh about Viagra commercials and stuff, and now like I started talking about my dad being a crooked cop. Like nobody found that funny.
That sounds funny to me though. I would have
wait. By you saying every other person could laugh at Viagra, are you saying statistically 50% of people might need Viagra?
Well, talk to every girl you ever talk to and ask them how long does their guy last, and they'll all tell you about 2 or 5 minutes.
Good fact.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I would definitely like to hear those crooked.
It's so common now,
jokes, though.
Dude, man. It's so easy to get. That's how common it is. Hymns, fucking Blue Chew is every fucking where. Yes. Like it's. Yeah, and now it's to the point that if you can tell somebody like, "Hey, girl, I got that Blue Chew," they are excited. They're okay.
Blue Chew, what's that?
Don't act funny.
What? I'm serious. What are you talking about?
Your dick. That's what.
I'm sick of you people.
Well, look who's here. Stephanie made it. Stephanie, how you doing?
Hi. So I have a
I'm just getting right into it. Okay.
Yeah, I have a strain knee of the collateral ligament. Whatever the
Okay.
fuck.
So you didn't break your leg then?
No.
So it was a strain.
Disclaimer. Do not
Lateral.
dance to Bad Bunny. Don't.
I didn't know
Note to
you could
self.
dance
Okay.
to Bad Bunny.
I was dancing to Bad Bunny and my knee gave out. So don't dance to Bad Bunny.
Is there like an age disclaimer on this? I'm just kidding. I don't.
Come on, Jimmy.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that.
That's like
I don't want to
You
do that. I
know
don't want to be the
what?
one. I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to be the guy. Hey, so Merms, I kind of want to cycle back around to what you were saying earlier, right? So whenever you were mentioning, like, have you ever had to like sit down and tell someone like, this is a joke?
Yeah.
This is all just a joke. One of my favorite all-time comedians, he passed away, right? He's
Richard
RIP.
Pryor.
Mitch Hedberg and
Oh,
Richard Pryor.
okay.
Richard Pryor is amazing too. But Mitch Hedberg, right?
Yeah.
Extremely talented, very funny, very witty guy. But he had a special on Netflix, and his special, he would tell jokes and nobody was kind of like vibing with it. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know what was going on, but I remember he had a joke about a banana, like a frozen banana. He was like, I got a frozen banana now so I could have a regular banana later.
That's honestly exactly his delivery too.
Yeah. And like,
Jimmy must have watched that quite a few
like
times.
for me, I cracked up laughing. Like I died laughing, right?
Yeah.
But you could tell like he kind of at certain points of his joke, he would have to be like, that was a joke. But the way he would say it in itself was a joke. And I felt like that was extremely genius of him to be able to still like kind of bomb a joke, but then be like, everybody should laugh now type thing. Like,
Yeah.
so
You got to have that
smooth
sense
with
of
it.
humor.
He had a
Mitch
really specific style that only I feel like, no one can really recreate it, but he killed it with that.
Killed it. People was knocking on one side of my wall. I told them, there's no door handle. I don't know why they're knocking on the wall when they should be knocking on the door.
Like this becomes a tribute episode to Mitch.
Yeah, are we just gonna like replay his whole special?
But no, I just wanted to say, like, when you said that, that was the first stand-up comedian that came to mind.
Yeah.
And I just, kind of, I want to give a little bit of.
Speaking of Richard Pryor, also, I know that's not who you were just talking about, but I mentioned it before. Richard Pryor also bombed his first set, I hear.
There we go.
The reason I ask a lot about the hecklers and stuff is because when I see stand-up comedy, I've never done it myself, but when I see it, I feel like it is the most like vicious style of like stage entertainment, because I've seen shows like Broadway shows, right? Like plays and stuff, or people just even doing like a seminar and stuff. And everyone's always quiet. They clap when they need to clap. They laugh when they need to clap. There's usually no like rambunctious or, people saying shit to the people on stage. And there's drinking involved with a lot of that too. I don't know if anyone here's ever been to Broadway, but you can totally drink while you're watching one of those plays. I know the alcohol, obviously helps people be stupid and, say dumb things to the stand-up comic. So I'm wondering what it is exactly about comedy that makes people want to, start talking or shouting shit at you. Is it because they might have different views from what you said in jokes, or like, what is it? Like, why don't we see or hear more stories about like, people at Hamilton and someone starts shouting at the guy playing like Thomas Jefferson, like, fuck you, Tom. Like, why don't we hear shit like that? Why is it only with stand-up comics? Do you?
I think because it's it seems more casual to the audience. Also, a lot of times, like if comics are doing crowd work, you're inviting a certain amount of dialogue where they can talk back, but then it just goes like a step too far, or they like overreach. Also, because stand-up comics are giving, unless they had someone write their jokes, they're giving their opinion, whereas like people in a play are just people know there's a script and it's not just like that person they're acting. So I feel like, it's more personal. It's the comedian's perspective. And then it like kind of, depending on the comic, invites a little bit of dialogue anyways. And then it's a slippery slope from there whenever the wrong person decides it's time for them to get involved.
Yeah.
Not only
to say something.
Not only that, but as a stand-up comedian, I could only imagine like you are the show. You're on the stage, right? So it's you. And then if you think about the odds and the ratio, that's like 1 to an average of like, let's say 35 to 50, right? Like a small bar or something, or wherever you're doing a show. One opinion against like the odds of 35 others. So someone's going to have a different opinion in the crowd.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Merms, nobody's going to be like, hey, the dude in the back of the ballet. Yeah, that was a terrible fucking turnaround you did. I could do a better turnaround and just like solo out one guy on a stage of like 15, 20 dancers. Whereas in the comic, it's like you're on stage, it's you against 50 other individuals, and they're obviously there to see you, but at the same time, you're gonna offend somebody. Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I don't know. I just always feel bad because it's just such, I don't know. It's so, it's rude. Like, when you go anywhere to watch anything, even if you're fucking seeing a movie, just don't, I don't know. That's how I've always been. It's just, why do you need to fucking talk right now?
Right. You can like go home,
asshole.
Talk shit about me in the car like everyone else, you know, on the way home.
Yeah, like everyone else will. Yeah, exactly.
Well, when I had like a heckler or whatever, and they're trying to offend me, I always play sand in an argument anyway. So I'm always soft, and then I just pretty much agree.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I just agree.
So
you
then,
know.
So
what do they say that you agree with?
No. Let's test this out. I'll be a heckler, right? I'll be a heckler. Chuck, you be the stand-up comedian and I just agree. If that wasn't funny, I mean, I guess it sucks. I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna come into character as someone that you in your current location would do comedy to. Okay.
All right, shotgun a beer real quick,
and then Chuck, you're gonna tell a joke. Tell a joke, Chuck. Tell a joke.
Yeah, tell us a joke right now.
Tell me a joke
right now.
Yeah.
Think of a joke.
All right. So you know how in porn, you know, when you slap your dick against a vagina, you know, that's not,
a little porn, man. That's what I'm talking about right there.
It's not considered foreplay. We've been lied to this whole time. We thought it was foreplay, and that's not foreplay.
He powers through.
Jimmy, this is where you come in.
God damn, man. I'm just that's all right. Can we? I fucked
you totally agree.
Oh, bad heckler.
That was a good joke. I don't know what to do, man. It wasn't like the best joke, but I was trying to get into character as like
as a
what about
guy?
when the dick hits your forehead, man? What are you gonna do, man? You know what I'm talking
about? If it's bigger than mine, then I guess I'm just gonna bow to it.
That's how you deal with hecklers.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what to do just now.
Heckler inception. Yeah. There were you were heckling the heckler.
Yeah, I just bow to it. Like this gay guy, he was like, "Oh my God, it's not even real. Porn's not even real." And I was like, "I know it's not real, but when you got a girl who will not suck dick, that's all
it's happening right now. Why is this all porn related? I
was like, that's all I have. I was like, you're gay, so you don't. I was like, you both suck dick, so it's okay. And you know, everybody, they was like, oh, and then I was like, so I guess you won't be slapping your dick against a vagina. You're getting your dick sucked, so you're okay. Me on the other hand, I'm not.
He's slapping his dick on his nuts.
I like how 5 minutes ago I was like, can I swear on this? And now you're like,
yeah, now we're
slap
talking
his
about
dick.
Dick the forehead.
It's hard to hurt my feelings. You can't hurt my feelings. Like I don't get offended by anything.
Chuck, all right, relax. I understand you're not getting offended anymore. Katie, I wanted to ask you something before we move into one of our favorite segments we do here at Great Morning. If you had to have say there was like a new Mount Rushmore, right? They're making a new Mount Rushmore kind of situation. And they asked you to put, so there's 4 heads, right? You put the heads of who you think the greatest stand-up comics are. Who are the 4? Who are the 4 you'd put up there?
Okay. Well, she wasn't necessarily a stand-up comic, but she's like the reason I've always wanted to do comedy was Carol Burnett.
Okay.
So I feel like, I used to watch her show with my grandmother. So she has to be on there. And then I would say, Robin Williams.
Okay, 2. Great choice.
Ooh, it's so hot.
I know.
This is
you
definitely
can only have 2 more.
I know. Okay, I recently did a show with him and he is as funny as everyone says. David Spade.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome. I love
Yeah.
David Spade.
Yeah, he's truly like also very sweet and not a douche, which is
I
so
heard he's nice.
lovely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was like, am I breathing the same air as these people? But
that's incredible.
It was cool. And then
Last one.
Bob Saget.
Oh, Bob Saget. Oh
Yes.
man. That was
There
you made that joke about him, right? In your special.
I did.
Yeah, and then you said it's funny as you went on with that joke, right? Because
I doubled down.
With, you were like, I just realized now that both these people are dead.
Yeah.
You mentioned that.
Yeah.
That's sad. Right? How did he die again? He hit his head and then he just went to sleep. He didn't get it checked out.
Yeah, it was
really that's how he died.
Accident. Yeah, he hit his head and didn't realize. But I recently got a concussion, and when I tell you that's all I thought about was Bob Saget, and I didn't sleep for like 2 days.
Yeah, that's how I get a little paranoid myself because I mean, first of all, it's true. Like if you get a head injury, sometimes it doesn't even feel like it's bad. And it could be obviously, I mean, look what happened to Bob Saget. He thought he was fine. He just needed to lay down and he fucking died that night.
Yeah.
So you never know how bad those injuries are.
Yeah.
You'll hear those stories a lot. Like cops will say, like, sometimes in a car accident, people will be bloody and mangled. And those people a lot of the times end up being fine.
Right.
But then other people, they're like, yeah, my head just kind of hurts a little bit. And then they sit on the sidewalk, cops waiting for an ambulance to come. And then the person will just keel over and die. There's no blood or anything. It's just like you get hit hard enough, that'll fuck you up. And Bob Saget was older too, so it wasn't. Yeah, that was sad. Bob Saget was really funny. That was really sad.
The more you know. I really thought it was just because he did a good show that night before, and then gone. That was
yeah.
Sad. Well, I'm sorry to make it sad here, but speaking of sad, I think it's time that we go into one of our favorite segments.
That's the segue.
Did you like that segue?
Hey,
I thought that was my. I'm trying to do.
Speaking of sad and terrible.
Speaking of,
I always try to make it the worst segue possible when we're going to the word of the day. So anyway, we want to do with you, Katie, right now. We want to do one of our favorite segments we like to do here at Great Morning, and that is, of course, the word of the day. Word of the day.
Oh.
So how the word of the day works, Katie, is usually since Jimmy's in Vegas, we knew this beforehand that this was going to be this way, but usually he has what we call the big old dick. It's a big old dictionary, an original Webster's dictionary that Jimmy's had in his family for thousands and thousands of years, right,
there
Jimmy?
Thousands
of years. And so what Jimmy usually does is he opens it up, he puts his finger down randomly on a random page, lifts his finger up, and whatever his finger landed on will be our word of the day. Now, with seasons 3, 4, and 5 of Great Morning, we've had our guests have to use that word in a sentence on the spot. And at the end of the season, we rate our top 10 guests' word of the day sentences.
Okay.
And the number one winner usually wins a trophy. So what you get graded on is how creative the sentence was, if you use the word correctly, and of course, if it was funny. So are you ready for the word of the day? Yeah, no pressure at all. We're putting you on the spot. So I have it. Jimmy did this beforehand before he went to Vegas, of course. So he sent me the word of the day. Don't worry, I always watch him. All right, we do plenty of meetings. So he's not, he's not lying or anything. He's not a cheater. Like Jimmy likes to talk about. So, Katie, are you ready for your word?
I'm ready.
All right. Your word is suntan.
Shut up. Shut up.
And I will spell it and I will give the definition. Suntan. Suntan.
Katie, you won.
A browning of the skin from exposure to the rays of the sun.
Okay.
So, that is
this
your word.
Triggering stuff? Has something happened in the past?
Yeah, what's wrong?
No,
we decided to pick this word right after we mentioned you offended people in the crowd by saying guys. We figured we'd attack you ethically as well.
Yeah, it's a suntan joke.
No.
Oh my God. I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, Katie. Go ahead, Katie.
You got it. You got it, Katie. Go do what you do. I'm excited for this one.
Go ahead.
We're excited.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm trying to think of if I have any jokes that involve a suntan. Okay. So I went and got a fake suntan, and it turned out that I was looking jaundice after it happened. I was a little bit orange, but I was born jaundice. So it was really a full circle moment for me.
Fantastic. All right.
Love it. I love it.
Nice.
Katie, you won. Okay.
Thanks.
That was
I almost thought jaundice was a great word too. It's like a strong word.
Thank you.
Strong definition.
Yeah, it's a great word.
I looked like an apricot, truly. It was bad.
Oh, that's
It's all right. It's okay.
My mom had to set me by a window so that I would turn like regular whatever color I am now.
Out of here. What are you, a fucking plant? What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was what the doctor recommended, was sit her by
the window. Water her every 6 hours.
Yeah, when I got the spray tan, I turned that color again, and I sent a picture to my mom, and she was like, "Wow, you're basically an infant again."
Oh, God. How old were you when that happened?
The spray tan?
Yeah.
I think I was like 21. So
okay.
That tracks.
Live and learn.
You live and learn, of course. I wanted to see if we had another segment also here for Katie. Stephanie, you mentioned the other day, because I know last episode, you did something new here at the podcast.
Yes.
That you usually you've never done before, and we kind of loved it.
Yes.
Do you have any more of that?
Yes, I do.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right. Stephanie is going to tell us some dad jokes.
Oh my God, I'm excited.
And okay. I'm excited to see if any will beat the one from last episode. Do you remember that one? Could you tell that again? Because I just love that. We all love that one so much.
Yeah. Hold on. I have it written down. Hold on.
Okay. I want Katie to hear it. I think she'll enjoy that one.
Ready?
Yes.
At my boss's funeral, kneeling and whispering at the coffin. Who's thinking outside the box now? Shut your mouth.
The dog came in there for that.
The dog really stepped on your punchline. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That was a bad heckle right there.
Get out. You want my damn food. Get out. Here. Get away from me. Bye. Anyway, yes. That was bull. But anyway, I do have more jokes.
Yes, please. We want to hear them.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
All right. So I'm fine, but I'm recording.
So many hecklers on your end.
Oh my God. The minute we try to bring you in, everyone's just like, let's come in there. Start talking to Stephanie.
Ready? So I told my wife to embrace her mistakes. She gave me a hug.
Okay.
But
whatever. All right, hold on.
All right, don't get angry at me. You didn't write them. It's fine.
That's fine. Oh, ready? What did Spartacus say when the lion ate his wife? Nothing. He was gladiator.
That made Jimmy laugh. That one made Jimmy laugh.
That was a good one.
Okay, ready?
Katie, you should rate these from like a 1 to a 10 to see how good they are.
Ready?
We need a comedian's perspective on these.
I was reading about atheism. Turns out it's a non-profit organization. Get it? Oh God, you got it.
That one was a thinker. Wow. Yeah. Non-profit.
Profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like Jesus. Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that one gets like a 7 because you had to like really Google it, basically.
We all had to sit there for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So my mom was a radiologist. She met my dad when he came in for x-rays. I wonder what she saw in him.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Ready?
Wait, Katie, what was your rating for that one? Be
5.
harsh if you want to.
A 5.
Okay. Did you know Albert Einstein had a younger brother named Frank? He was a monster.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Another thinker.
Yeah, no, a thinker. It gets a 7, tied with the other thinker.
Okay.
I like how Stephanie laughs after every one she tells.
She provides her own laugh track.
She's
I
like,
do.
this is hilarious.
Okay. Dear optimists, pessimists, and realists, while you were arguing about the glass of water, I drank it. The opportunist.
That's just like a life lesson quote.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, that's a good, law to live by.
Yeah. Get that in a
Okay.
tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Put it on a shirt and then meet one of your celebrity, like celebrity people you look up to.
Yeah,
maybe
there
that's
you go.
what's gonna happen with you, Katie. Every time you wear like a crazy shirt, you'll just meet someone like super.
I hope
amazing.
so. That's all I can hope for.
I hope
Go
you have
shirt
more of those
shopping all the
shirts.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy new shirts all the time.
Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee.
Okay.
You got any more stuff? she's like, can these guys shut up so I can tell more dad jokes?
Yeah,
Go
more
for it,
dad
Stephanie.
jokes. Okay. What do you call a zombie who doesn't joke around? Dead serious.
Okay, I like that one.
All right. She is cracking herself up.
What's the rate? Is it above a 7?
Oh yeah, that one gets a 9.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Scientists have recently discovered a food that greatly reduces sex drive. It's called wedding cake.
Okay.
All right. All right. Maybe 3 more, Stephanie, and we'll
Okay,
we'll wrap this
okay.
portion
There's
up.
so many.
I know. Yesterday, I read an article about the dangers of drinking too much. It scared the hell out of me. So today I decided to never read it again.
Another thing to live by.
Yeah, this is just solid advice.
Yeah, just like mentorship at this point.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Uncle life lessons.
Yeah. Dad lessons from Stephanie.
Dad
Yeah.
lessons.
tablets were replaced by scrolls. Scrolls were replaced by books. Now we scroll through books on tablets.
Again, that's
It's
just
true.
an observation. That's more like an observation.
Just a social awareness.
Yes.
Socially.
All right,
Okay.
last
Dad,
one, Stephanie.
From dad.
Okay.
Big finish.
Big finish.
Okay. A man goes to a funeral and asks the widow, "Mind if I say a word?" She says, "Please do." The man clears his throat and says, "Bargain." The widow replies, "Thanks. That means a great deal."
Wow.
That
Wow.
one was, we had to wait for it.
Wow.
It had a climax. to
Big
it.
build up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was she is cracking herself up.
These get me all the time. Oh.
No wonder you wanted to tell these on the podcast. You're just sitting around reading. I just imagine you reading these before you go to bed.
I want that as a job. I just want to look up dad jokes all day.
That is her job. That's what she's doing here. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I want that
want
as a
it.
job.
But yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
is all from you Puerto Rican mamacita. Dad
Hell
jokes.
yeah. Love the dad jokes, Stephanie. Thank you for some of them. I have a few more questions here for Katie that I wanted to ask. Katie, when you get on stage, okay, so let's start back though. When you first started doing comedy, did you get like really anxious and nervous before you went on stage? And if so, has that somewhat continued now throughout your years doing comedy?
I definitely used to get nerves.
Yeah.
Probably for the first few years.
Mhm.
And then I went through a little bit of it when we started doing live shows again after quarantine of just
Yeah.
like, oh, I haven't been on an actual stage in a while. And now, honestly, not really. I really don't get nervous before shows at all anymore, unless it's like whenever I do the lineups where I'm like introducing David Spade or something, then I get a little nervous because I'm like, oh.
Like you're more nervous, like just meeting David Spade, not necessarily
Exactly.
the
Yeah. Not in front of the
audience.
audience. Exactly. So yeah, not really anymore.
That's awesome. When you go out onto stage and like I said, there's definitions of hecklers, right? So there's like the heckler that's yelling at you, but then there's those hecklers, like say just a group of people that are drinking and they just start talking,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's just kind of annoying because you hear these fucking people talking. How do you deal with that in those situations?
Yeah, it depends on where they're located in the audience. If I feel like the rest of the audience is also annoyed by them, then I'll address it and just like kind of call them out. But if the rest of the audience is like ignoring them and just still into the show, then I try not to derail. But if they're disrupting everyone else, then you have to address the elephant in the room. So then I'll be like, okay, meeting of the minds. Hi, this isn't a podcast. I can hear you. Like, you know what I mean? I'll like call it out.
I feel like as soon as you address someone in the crowd, like you said earlier, you kind of now you're sharing the stage, right? And everyone's ego and pride is kind of going to be on the line. So of course, the person in the crowd doesn't want to get like punked out. So they're going to like be even worse. I got a question for you, Katie.
Yes.
Have you ever met Middleditch and Swartz?
No, but I've wanted, oh God, on my list for sure.
Oh my gosh. They're improv.
I've seen their stuff, and then not ever in person though, because every time the tickets go on sale, they sell out in like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, my husband's a huge fan and has been to their shows.
Yeah. So for the listeners, could you tell us, Mermsy, do you know Middleditch?
No, I actually don't.
Steph, do you know?
Completely ignorant here.
Do you know Middleditch and Swartz, Steph? Do you know?
Stephanie muted herself.
Oh, nope.
Katie, go ahead and, for the listeners.
Yeah. As far as like what my husband tells me too about their live shows, it's like mostly improvised, and it's two guys, and so it's improvised and stand up. It's like both, and it's specifically them. Like they have like the best chemistry, and they take like suggestions from the audience. So they do like break that fourth wall and invite like a back and forth, but they just handle it so well. Yeah, definitely look them up. Like if anyone's listening, or you guys look up later, like it's really cool to see. Like on paper, it sounds super like basic, but when you see them doing it, it's really fun.
No, it's pretty dope. But have you ever thought about doing like improv, stand-up comedy like that?
She did do it. You have done improv, right, Katie?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I did the Groundlings and stuff, which some of the SNL cast members did. I did all like 4 years of it when I moved here, and I was still in college and stuff. So I think it was right before I did stand-up, I was doing improv. So I like have a background in that, and I would be super down if that comes up again in my career. But the thing that frustrated me is like those two guys have such a good chemistry, and it's so hard to find that. Like when I was in the Groundlings, you're just paired with random strangers, and you don't always have like a great stage chemistry with them, or like you have completely different ideas of what you want to do on stage, and then they're just kind of like not vibing. I don't know. So it's really hard to find those like people you have a lot of chemistry with, and then you have to rely on other people while you're on stage. So that's why I started stand up instead, because I was like, I can just write what I want to write.
Yeah. Control the stage a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I know you mentioned very quickly there, Katie, Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought, how does that work? Have you ever thought of auditioning for Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, you usually have to have like an agent pitch you. So that's definitely on my radar. And I've had people in the past, like in the industry, tell me like, you should definitely audition. The only thing is I don't do impressions. I wish I was cool enough for that. Maybe someday I can learn, but in the audition for SNL, they definitely like for you to have either impressions or characters. And I can do characters from like my days in improv and stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I would love to do in my career. And I actually, one of the new cast members is Michael Longfellow. And so he's a new cast member for this season. And he's one of my like friends in stand-up comedy. So it's cool seeing my peers get to that point. Yeah. And I'm friends with a guy that was on, I forget what season it was, but like Luke Knoll, he was on a season, like, and he's a stand-up comic that I know. So it's just cool getting to see the people in my circles get to that point, and like maybe I'll get to audition someday, but they're crushing it. So
yeah, hell yeah. Even with that, you said his name was Michael, right?
Yeah.
So he at least can tell you more about how the process goes. Yeah. So, because from what I heard, and this is just from a John Mulaney joke, because John Mulaney, John Mulaney auditioned for Saturday Night Live, I don't know what, 15 years ago or something.
Yeah.
And the way he kind of described it, and from what I understood, is like you audition, you do this stuff for them, and then either three things happen. One, nothing happens. You don't get on SNL. That's just it. Two, you get picked as being, you know, part of that new cast. I forget what they call it. Like when they're doing, like, in the beginning, they're like saying all the names. It's kind of like in the featuring section when you're just there for the first year, and then you go to the main cast. So you can get on like that. Or what happened with John Mulaney was, I guess Lorne Michaels was like, hey, like, we like you. You're really funny, but we don't know if you're like funny enough to just be on the show. So how about being a writer? And then they do that. That's like the third option that can happen. So, but then a lot of the times it turns out the writers are sometimes way more funny than some of the cast members.
Yeah.
Because John Mulaney is one of, first of all, he's hilarious. And like, there's been a crazy amount of great, right? JB Smoove was on there. Conan O'Brien, right? Conan O'Brien wrote for SNL.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever thought about maybe that, like writing the skits yourself?
Yeah, I have. I wrote, during the pandemic, I wrote a pilot. I wrote some sketches. So
fuck yeah.
I really like writing. Also, I think at this point in entertainment, you have to be like a Swiss Army knife of a human and be able to do a lot of different things. So I definitely have stuff up my sleeve. Should the opportunity ever arise, I would be like, here's my writing packet. Can I? Yeah.
Do you think that people could break into that industry if they didn't know anyone? Or do you feel like it's truly like one of those network, you know somebody, but also you have what it takes to back it up, but you do need to know somebody to kind of break in.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I knew zero humans, and like, not that I've made it or anything, but it is definitely about putting yourself out there and networking with who you have. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's about having your shit together once the opportunity finally gets to you.
Preparation.
Yeah.
Which, you know, sometimes people get their shit together by having like a really shitty childhood, and then they use that as a tool, and then they turn that around, you know? Or like, I truly thought that earlier, like whenever he was like, yeah, because I hate my dad, like when he snuck that in there, I thought that was a joke. But then now I'm learning. I'm like, oh shit, this is actually a real thing. Which it actually makes it a lot more entertaining.
Yeah.
That's why you have to ask the comedian every time if it's a joke they're telling.
If it was real, yeah.
Wait, is this a joke? That's how I interrupt shows. Like every 2 minutes, I say, "Is this a joke?"
Is she for real?
I start laughing. Yeah.
Kidding me?
I'm ridiculous like that. I have.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. No,
I was just gonna say, didn't we mention we've talked about SNL a couple times on our podcast?
Yes,
I think. Oh man, his name's kind of slipping my mind, but he was
Pete
like
Davidson.
Nope, Chris Farley.
Oh, okay.
Why Pete Davidson and Chris Farley just connected like that as soon as you said Pete Davidson?
That is weird because they did not know each other. The one has been dead for a number of years, and
completely different timeline.
Now no longer on SNL.
But no, Chris Farley. I remember Chris Farley. He would, like, people kind of talked about, you know, because like after his death, they talked about like how much SNL stressed him out a little bit, and also how he just kind of went off the rails with partying and drinking and all this stuff. But the cast at the time was like so close knit, and I feel like that's why the network's important, right? Because the cast was so close knit that every single person like tried to do their best to look out for Chris Farley. They're like, "Yo, man, sleep on this couch in the office. Just make the show tomorrow." And the amount of hours it takes to like
it's grueling,
high pressure environment, right? They write sketches every week,
and they have to deal with like not only you're right, all that shit. So imagine everything that would come with the stress of having to write shows every week, unless you know they're off for the season. But then also bring in another reason I really like John Mulaney's stand-up is he talks about those times when he just wrote for SNL, and so usually the guest, right, is someone like really famous, right? And they don't have to be a comedian. So sometimes they just get like musical guests or like whoever the host, not guest of the show is that day is just usually someone big. And he talked about when fucking Mick Jagger was on from the Rolling Stones. And Katie, have you heard this joke?
No.
Oh, he talks about Mick Jagger came on and he's like, yeah. And people ask me, is Mick Jagger a nice guy? No, he's not, but he's Mick Jagger. So he doesn't live in the same. It's weird seeing people with that high of a status. Like people
echelon.
People have been screaming at Mick Jagger for 50 years straight. Like he's a god on stage. That's going to fucking change you. He said Mick Jagger would sit there and just say Diet Coke and hold out his hand, and someone would run over and just give him a Diet Coke.
That's wild.
Yeah. So like some of those
that echelon.
Hosts, I know it's
a high echelon.
So imagine just dealing with that because that's what I'm getting to is like the stress of just even whoever the host is, because John Mulaney tried to like pitch him like a funny song to do for one of his skits, and he was like no. He would pitch him the sentence, and he'd be like, "How does this sound?" And Mick Jagger would just go, "No," and like yell at him, point at him like that, and then be like, "All right, how about this?" And then Mick Jagger would be like, "Yeah," and that's all. That's how he had to deal with this fucking guy for a week. Oh my
god!
So yeah, there's
that's wild.
There's fucking stress. I am positive it's stressful. I wonder why so many people on that have used hard drugs.
Yeah, it's a big deal. If you miss one show, that's a big deal. If you miss a show, man. Oof.
You know, I have something here before we start wrapping some things up. So Katie, I know as a stand-up comedian or stand-up comic, whichever you prefer to be called, that you're used to having to notice the little things or even big things in life. And then you can take that and use that in jokes, things about your own life, things you see out in the street, all these things we see, hear, and smell, you can make a joke about it. That's one of the great things about being a stand-up comic. So I have a story for you about a not so subtle airplane ride I had. And I wonder how you would have taken what I saw if you were in my shoes. And maybe you wouldn't have done a joke with it, but maybe you would have said something. I want to hear what you think of this. This was months ago. I was flying back from Boston. I was seeing everybody's friend Donnie there, flying back from Boston, and the plane was stuck on the runway for like 45 minutes, right? We're on the plane. It's in the runway now. And they're like, yeah, you can't get up because we might take off soon. We might not. There's something wrong with another plane in the way, blah, blah, blah. So we had to sit there. I'm sitting next to this guy. I didn't know this guy. He says, not really to me. He's kind of looking forward, but I guess I'm the only one there to hear him. And he's just like, damn, I really got to piss. I hate that they say you can't get up for this shit. And I kind of like looked over and I was just kind of like, I shrugged. I was like, yeah. I don't want to talk to this guy. 5 minutes later, I see him pull out a water bottle.
No.
Yep, you know. No. You see where this is. You're ahead of me. So he finishes the water, and then I hear like kind of moving around, right? And I'm like reading something, and I'm trying to like glance over. I'm like, there's no way. And this guy like took out his unit and started pissing in the water bottle.
Jesus Christ.
His private part?
His private part was out.
Was he sitting right next to you?
So yeah, he was there, but like, no, the middle seat was open. It wasn't a packed flight. So yeah, he wasn't like right next to me, but I mean, it was only 2 seats over. It's like, I'm the aisle, he's the window. So
if your elbows if your elbows were touching in that situation, what would you say? What would you say to him?
See, that's one of those things is I would like to think that I'd have the courage to be like, hey man, don't fucking do that. That's gross. But also, if a man does that on an airplane, to me, that kind of seems like a person who doesn't give a fuck. So right. I'd also be a little afraid to say something to this person who openly has is as Jimmy said, his private parts out and pissing in a water bottle. And then it was weird because I don't know if anyone here has ever pissed before, but it usually has a smell of some sorts. So on the plane, it just started smelling like piss. And like I could see the other people around us are kind of like, fuck did someone piss on the floor?
Also, I'm sure they could hear him peeing. There's a lot of things going on with all your senses.
Yeah. So maybe he was able to get away with it a little more because, some people are talking to each other. It wasn't like completely quiet, but yeah, like there's that like in hitting it was like a plastic water bottle what you're drinking right now.
Yeah. And that's horrific.
Also, he closed it up after. Like I saw him do all of this and I was just kind of like, my God. And he closed it up after and he like put it kind of beside him. But the smell would not go away, even though he closed the bottle up. I kind of like at one point I like pretend to like reach down for my shoe. And I kind of look over. And I see by his shoes that a lot of it was on the floor. Like obviously it was a little water bottle head. Like you can't.
Oh my God.
I have so many questions.
Disgusting.
Dude, how disgusting is that? So
it's a plane, not a porta potty. Jesus.
This man had to piss, I guess, but I mean, Jesus, I would have honestly at that point, if you had to pee that bad on a plane and they said you couldn't get up, what I would have done is I would have like quickly just gotten up and gone to the bathroom real quick without anyone looking.
Let him yell at you later. You're like, do you want me to pee myself on your plane?
You can yell at me afterwards. That's fine. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have drank that water bottle, but yeah, he pissed right next to me. And I've been waiting for a certain episode to share this story with you guys.
Jesus, that's crazy.
I don't know what to do with my life now that I saw it.
Yeah, you're forever changed.
I'm forever changed.
You're woke.
I feel like Katie, maybe you've noticed this, and Jimmy, maybe you've noticed this as well. I think it's partly due to the pandemic. I feel like after, the time we spent in quarantine and, like watching the news constantly, just all this stuff going on during 2020, and we were stuck inside a lot, we got a little more like comfortable with ourselves in a way. So I feel like ever since 2020, I've been noticing people doing more odd shit like out in public.
People don't know how to act anymore.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
I don't know how you would take that. I just wanted to share that with you. I don't know. How would you have handled that, Katie?
Oh, yeah. I would truly wild. I would definitely be writing a bit about it 100%. Usually, like whenever weird shit happens to me, I'll take the story on stage and then just see which pieces people laugh at and then kind of trim the story down from there. So yeah, that's what I would try doing first. But that is fucking hilarious. And I'm sorry that you're scarred now. But yeah.
I don't, it wasn't, it obviously it's not like it was traumatic, but it was just more like, I can't believe it's okay to have a little shame, right? Like maybe you should have a little shame in your life. Like, don't do that.
A healthy amount of shame. I guess if you were in like a urinal situation, someone whips their dick out that close to you in a bathroom, but you just saw one in the wild. So
in the wild. Yeah. I like that.
It's in the wild in a water bottle.
Natural habitat.
The natural sitting in the giant metal tube. It's
jarring.
Fly to the sky.
Yeah. It's jarring.
Yeah. It's so I didn't know. I don't know. I just want thoughts on that because that is something I honestly saw in my life now. And
that's insane. What airline was it?
Oh, it was United.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, sorry. We shouldn't say that over the podcast. So
no, let him have it. Free plane rides for life. You should be compensated.
Fucking United.
Yeah.
Yeah.
United usually isn't as bad as the other ones, though.
I thought you were gonna say it was like Spirit or something.
No, see, I feel like that would have made more sense, but no, it was just plain old United. This guy really needs to take a piss. So there you go. That's Christian's story for today for you guys. But we're unfortunately getting a little close to time here. We're getting to that sad time of the podcast where we unfortunately have to wrap things up because we gotta get out of here. All right, we gotta go. We got shit to do. All right, so we gotta stop talking to each other and stuff like that. So we're gonna go around the computer screen and do our last minute plugs. Now, we usually start with the Puerto Rican Mamacita, but I don't know what's happening with her screen right now. So Stephanie, are you even there? What's happening? Did you break your other leg? What happened?
No.
Oh, you're there.
Yeah, I'm here.
There's just a lot going on behind you.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to give your last minute plugs right now or no? We can come back to you. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and move to Jimmy, my friend. You got any last minute plugs for listeners?
Yeah. First, I just want to say, Worms, I can't believe you just told Katie K I pissed in a bottle on a plane.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler alert. It was my friend Jimmy sitting next to me.
Spoiler alert.
Awkward. Yeah. No, just kidding. No. Follow me on Instagram, man. Slightly Special with 2 L's in the end. Other than that, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody, man. The listeners, you guys are awesome, man. Tuning in. Love the growth. Love to see it. Shout out to my girlfriend, Lavani. We're out here in Vegas. Aww. We both just came up like 10 stacks.
Dude, I saw that. I'm sorry we didn't have time to say you came in late, so I would have totally talked about it in the beginning, but
gave it back. But
you
not all of it.
How much did you win? I saw that. You were sending me pictures.
Dude, I think I've won like 12 grand. It's so insane. Easy in Vegas. It's so easy. But I definitely played it back. But I got some to throw back into the savings so I can catch a flight to come see you, Murmsy.
Oh, Okay. Hell yeah. I love
I'm gonna come over to Jersey. I'm gonna go to Jersey and get a sandwich. But nah, man, other than that, that's it, man. My last minute plug. Shout out to Vegas. Love the place. Love everybody. And I'm not good at plugs, but thanks.
Oh, of course. That is fine. Well, thank you, Jimmy, for your last minute plugs. And my last minute plugs before we get into our honored guest are, of course, you can follow Great Morning _ the podcast. That is our Instagram podcast, our podcast Instagram. And, you'll get all your updates there, new guests who are going to be on the episode coming up and stuff like that, when specials are dropping, all that stuff. So go follow the Instagram page. You'll get most of the information there. You can follow Slightly Special with 2 L's. You can follow You Love Steph on Instagram. You can follow Topaz Kin. That is Chuck. You can follow the greatest engineer known to mankind. That is Trip God Jimmy, TRYPGODJIMI on Instagram. You can buy your merchandise at shopgreatmorning.com and go fuck yourself. So moving on to our honored guest, Katie K. Thank you so much for coming on. We loved hearing your stories, your trials and tribulations of becoming a stand-up comic. By the way, before you give your last minute plugs, I did want to say I really enjoyed your special, your album.
Thank you.
I Am the Trash. I did really enjoy it a lot. And I recommend people go listen to it. And I know it's on Apple. That's where I listen to it on. I believe it's also on YouTube. And you know what? Please give us your last minute.
Taking a plug, man. We're taking a plug.
I know. I'm doing her plugs for her.
You're good. You're good.
Just like doing our plugs.
Yeah. No, you can follow me at KDK Comedy on all platforms and stream I Am the Trash on almost everything. It is on every single platform except Spotify. It should be on Spotify. In 3 business days. So we had a snafu where it disappeared on the release day. It was available for pre-save. Everything was there. It was perfect. And then the second it was supposed to drop, it disappeared. So then I had to deal with support. They said it was an error on their end. So they did at least admit fault. But then it takes 10 days to go back on.
Yeah.
So annoying. So if you're listening to this closer to March 10th, then it is on every streaming platform.
Hell yeah.
Check it out.
Love to hear it. Yes, go listen to it. It's a fantastic special. I enjoyed it a lot. And you know what, Katie, I hope to hear more from you soon. And we in the future, we will also let you know where you got on your word of the day. So we hope to hear from you again soon. And
perfect.
I'm looking forward to hearing more of the stand-up. All right.
Thank you.
Of course. And Stephanie, are you ready to give your last minute?
Yeah,
that was really weird. Usually you go first.
Ready. All right. Well, y'all already know it's your Puerto Rican mamacita. And of course, follow me on Instagram. Merms already said my IG handle. Happy Women's History Month, all that good shit with women and all that shit. And Katie, thank you for coming through and blessing us with your funny graciousness. And let's see what else. Oh, shout out to my compay. It's his 50th birthday. Go puppy. And that's it. I love you guys. You guys fucking rock. You guys are just fucking amazing. I'm blessed to have you guys as my co-hosts and brothers, friends, everything. And I love our listeners. And yeah, that's it from your Puerto Rican mamacita. I love you guys. Gang.
Awesome. Stephanie, I hope your leg feels better soon, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that too.
I hope you have a really cool, I hope you have a cooler walk after this, a cool,
I've been through some shit walk.
A swag.
Yeah, like Diddy, like Papi Songos.
I just be careful dancing out there, all right?
No more Bad Bunny.
Stay safe.
Just be a little safer out there on the dance floor. But thank you so much, Katie, for coming on.
Thanks,
and thank you guys for coming on as well. And that was our episode. Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning. Great morning.